I want to kind of continue your theme of the why. And I would let people on here know, if you don't know my background, I'm an exercise physiologist. I'm a certified Nautilus trainer. I've been in the fitness, wellness, nutrition field 49 years now, in every aspect of it. Have a similar background with Carl, coming from the health and fitness world. My entry level into that industry was from an exercise standpoint. One of the reasons I left the industry, because statistics were in, and I knew that 80% of the people that bought memberships to my health club were going to be inactive on it within about 120 days, 90 to 120 days. And yet they were paying for a 1, 2, 3 year membership. And I just got tired of that, because there wasn't anything I could do to change it. And then I moved into the nutrition field. 1979 is when I entered the nutrition industry. And it was all about the processing of food that was starting to take place in America. The problem hasn't gotten better, it's gotten worse. And I just want to share with you, take a few minutes here to tell you about my why. Why I added Live Good to my wellness regimen and telling all my friends. Is it because of money? Well, of course it is. We all work for money. But my why supersedes just the money end of it, especially at my age. I'm 75 years old. I take 0 prescription medication. I've been active in exercise and diet and hydration and environmental wellness, for the last 40 years. And I know the benefit of it. And that's it. But when you look at this problem, when you understand what we have hold of here, that's my why. And I just want to share that with you real quick. And I do want to do a quick disclaimer. Nothing we talk about on these calls, whether they're our calls or the corporate calls, are intended to treat, cure, or mitigate any illness or disease. Our programs and products are not about your health. Your health, by law in America, you're born with your health. You lose the rest of your life losing it. And when you do lose it in some areas, by law, you're required to go to the medical industry to get a diagnosis and prescription to improve your health. That's by law. And we talk about the medical industry being on the liability side in fitness and wellness. It's on the liability side of the wellness balance sheet. Now, please, I'm not telling you that the medical industry is a liability. I'm saying you in the medical industry. That's the liability. Over here on the asset side of the balance sheet, that's where we are. And what is wellness? Well, wellness is about you. It's not what I do or tell you. It's about what you do, you personally, to improve your well-being. And it has to do with the air you breathe. It has to do with hydration, the water you drink. But the area that we work in, that we have available to us, is about the fuel of the human structure. It's nutrition. It's what you consume. And it's what you can or willing and financial. This is the key, financially able to do to bring those up to optimum. And this is what I wrapped around with Live Good, is this mission statement. Listen, sometimes we don't build this up as big as we should. It's not their mission to make you rich. It's not their mission to make you $10,000 a month. That's the product opportunity they give you to do that. Their mission is to help people get healthy and stay healthy without having to spend a fortune to do it. This is the mission. This is what I like. This is the fact that, listen, I've been dealing in this home-based network industry, knowing I was selling overpriced product, but I thought they were great products, and when I discovered that great products don't have to cost a lot, that was my big why that got me interested in Live Good. And here's why. Listen, when I got into the industry 40-something years ago, there was a problem in people's diet because of processed foods. The problem has not gotten better. It hasn't improved. These are the stats today. 90% of Americans are deficient in something: potassium, calcium, vitamin E, vitamin A. More than 50% of Americans are deficient in one of the most important immune system vitamins we have available to us, is vitamin D. And our D3K2 or D2K3 product is one of the best in the marketplace. I've researched it. And listen to this. 90% of African Americans and 70% of elderly people are deficient in it. Listen, who do you think my warm market is? My social market. You're seeing them right here, right on this call. It's why we call ourselves the silver-haired superstars. Listen, if I can bring a person on board as an affiliate and a member, and I can change their wellness with these products and they can afford it, and over time, listen, they may not get rich, but boy, I believe, and Carl and I have talked about this in depth, if you join us and you never sponsored a person and we keep doing our job, I think that a person's going to have 50, 60, maybe $100 or more a month that's going to be building through that matrix underneath them, that now they can afford to correct these issues right here. You know why they can't afford to do this? It's because of our system. Now, this is what it leads up to. These are not my statistics. These are from the Centers of Medicare and Medicaid Services. Here's what I know. If I had 100 people on this call right now that were over 65 years old, 80% of them have at least one chronic condition. It's that simple. It's the data. These are the people that deal with the health care of people 65 plus. I know 8 out of every 10 have at least one. I know 7 out of every 10 have at least 2, and go down the list. 6 out of every 10 have hypertension. 5 out of every 10 have high cholesterol. 3 out of every 10 chronic joint arthritis. 3 out of every 10 have some type of heart condition. 3 out of every 10. Listen, did you know over 60% of the American population today, this blows me away, is either pre-diabetic or diabetic? It's unbelievable. The problems are getting worse because they are designed problems. And you may not believe me in that, but this data points out to that. It's that simple. We, and almost every one of these, have nutrition connections. That's the secret to this. Look at this. This was the largest scale study that has been done to date. Came out in January of this year. It was the largest database of people. And they said, listen what they call it. See, 40 years ago when I got in nutrition, George Larimore, and you know, you've been in nutrition a long time, we talked about processed food. We talked about the issues that processing in the mill was causing. It's no longer about processed food. Look at the word they used, ultra processed. Well, what does that mean? The processing starts in the field today, folks. Your food isn't nutritious in the field. It's called bioengineer. It's man-made food. Listen, there's things you're buying today in a bag or a box that has zero organic nutrition to it. It's all bioengineered. It's made by man. Now, part of that is because of how we have to feed millions of people that are growing on this earth. We have to figure out new ways to feed them. So a big part of that comes out of it. But this drew the direct link between the ultra-processed food and cancer. Remember what I just showed you, the number of people. You know, when I remember years ago when I got in the health club business, we talked about 1 out of every 12 individuals would probably have cancer in their lifetime. It's almost 50 years ago. Today, they say every single person will have some form of cancer in their lifetime. Some will even die and not even know they have it. Here's another study just came out in March of this year, found in the New York Times, the link between highly processed food and brain health. Do you know how many issues we're having, especially with seniors, with cognitive decline? Do you think that's just natural? No, it's not natural. It has to do with what we're being fed, what we're drinking. Eating packaged foods like cereal and frozen meals has been associated with anxiety, depression, and cognitive decline. Scientists are still piecing together why. I can tell you why. I'm not a scientist. Now, and this brings us, how many of you on this call, and I won't ask you to raise your hand, have ever heard of obesogens? When I tell people about this, they go, what? Did you know that right now, 68% of the population of America is classed as overweight or clinically obese? When I got into the industry 45 years ago, we talked in terms of 20% being clinically obese and 10 to 12% being overweight. Problem's gotten worse, not better. Why? This has to do with not your food and your diet. These are chemicals that are they now know that are in your food and in your environment that make you fat. Not your diet, not your food that you're eating. These are chemicals you're being exposed to. Did you know the inside of a microwave popcorn bag, the nonstick cookware, pesticides, bactericides, BPA, plastic, we're being overwhelmed by it. And they've now done studies to find out these are called obesogens. They make you fat. You want to know why your last diet didn't work? That's why. Now, once again, these are not my statistics. This is my why. You know, statistically, what are you going to die from in America? Well, statistically, heart disease. It's the #1 cause of death for men and women in America. Direct links, not just to exercise. Well, listen, I've been in that for a long time. I can tell you, 80% of you are not going to exercise on a regular, consistent basis. I'm an exercise physiologist, and I have lapses in it. Cancer is the second leading cause of death. We just talked about that. But here's what is really frightening. The third leading cause of death in America is medical error, medical malpractice. Remember, by law, that industry you have to go to get your health improved? You have to go to the third leading cause of death in America. So they can then prescribe for you the fourth leading cause of death, which is prescription drugs. These are not my statistics. Go to the FDA, go to the CDC, Google around. This is their statistics. So how many people have diabetes in America? Over 60% of the population is either pre-diabetic or diabetic. You've heard Brian Goodkin talk about it. These are our whys. This is my why. We've got things here that can change people's lives. One, they can now afford to do it. Two, we can direct them what to do. Well, people say, well, yeah, but we have the FDA there that should be helping us in this. Folks, I've been saying this for years, and I'm going to see a lot of heads shake yes. I'm going to quote the FDA commissioner. This is Herbert Lay, the FDA commissioner. This is the most stunning medical quote ever made by a Harvard professor. It says the FDA protects the big drug companies and is subsequently rewarded, and using the government's police powers, they attack those who threaten big drug companies. I know, folks, I've been on the end of these attacks. The thing that bugs me is that people think the FDA is protecting them. It isn't. What the FDA is doing and what the public thinks it is doing are as different as night and day. Now, this is, unless he's just lying to us, this is the FDA commissioner from a few years back, just telling the truth. This is the FDA. That's who they're there for. Now, I got in the industry 43 years ago, so I want you to know a little bit about the history. You know, this is a little bit not just about, my why, but a little bit about the history of this. The FDA tried everything in their power to get Congress to pass a bill. They've been working on this for 40 years to pass a bill that would make you have to go to your doctor and get a prescription and go to your pharmacy and get that prescription filled for you to do exactly what we're now doing, taking products by your own decision to improve your health. Most of you probably don't know that. And it wasn't until several companies, one of which I was with, that's why I know this, that approached Congress and put a lot of money behind lobbying for this. It was Zango, Herbalife, Shaklee, Nature Plus, Amway that led the charge to get the Dietary Supplement and Health Education Act of 1994 passed. I don't know if any of you even know that there's now law that says you and I now have the right to make decisions about our wellness, that we can supplement with what we choose. Now, they regulate what you can say about and what needs to be on the label. Well, that's where our certifications come in. We meet all these regulations. But here's the benefit of the Dietary Supplement Act. The law provides FDA with appropriate regulatory authority and ample enforcement tools to protect consumers while still allowing them to desired access to a wide variety of affordable, quality, safe, and beneficial dietary supplement products. I don't know how many of you knew that there's now a law that allows us to take these vitamins. I want to tell people about it, but I want to read this. This is what I like. This is kind of my mission. Here's what the law says. This is what Congress says. And I carry this as my kind of marching orders. Improving the health status of United States citizens ranks at the top of the national priorities of the federal government. The importance of nutrition and the benefits of dietary supplements to health promotion and disease prevention have been documented increasingly in scientific studies. This is United States Congress telling you that if you supplement properly, learn what to take, find a good source that you can afford, that you're going to offset potentially and improve your health. There's a link between the ingestion of certain nutrients or dietary supplements, listen to this, what we just talked about in the first part of this call, and the prevention of chronic diseases such as cancer, heart disease, and osteoporosis. I'm going to finish up. Promotion of good health and healthy lifestyles improves and extends the lives while reducing healthcare expenditures. Nutritional supplements will limit the incidence of chronic diseases and reduce long-term health care. Here's my marching orders, folks. This is why when I discovered Live Good and I researched these products, Carl will tell you, I took 2 weeks. I should have got on board earlier. I would have double the income I have now. But I wanted to make sure what I was bringing to the table to be able to tell each of you that's on this call that I was telling you what the truth. Start your process today. Avoid being a statistic. And I recommend you talk to people. What should they start with? I call it my silver hair superstar important four. And that's the multivitamins, the super greens, the super reds, and our protein. Now, I have several people who go, well, Duane, I believe you need adaptogens also. Then you could look at all of our products fall into 3 categories. They're either what's called restorative nutrition. That's what our multivitamin is. You take it when you eat a meal, it restores it makes that meal look like natural, healthy, nutritional food. That's restorative. Then we have adaptive products. Our organic coffee, our factor 4, those are adaptive products. That means that they help work internally to cause internal functions to adapt and function better, like our organic coffee, mental alertness, mental awareness, acuity, energy level, better sleep, factor 4, inflammation response. So you might start with the maximum energy pack and add the multivitamin and factor 4. Carl Wilt would tell you, yes, this is what every senior probably needs right here. And you do it for under $99. If you compare it to our competition, you're looking at over $269. I was paying $167 a month for 3 products just for me for a 30-day supply from a previous company. Were they good products? Absolutely. Were they worth 2 and 3 times as much? No. So with that, I'm going to wrap this share up. If you're on here, you're brand new, my recommendation, you can do what we did. I joined for a month first, do your homework, but then sign up for a year. Let a year work for you. You get the best member pricing, you get the best positioning, and there's no gimmicks. You don't have to worry about it expiring. You don't have to worry about being dropped out of the matrix, because you never know who's going to fall underneath you. You might get a George Larimore underneath you. You get 4 free turnkey websites, 3 for marketing, 1 for managing and operating your business. You've got the ability to share with friends. You can share with Business Network. You can earn free product. Listen, I've earned enough. None of my products have cost me a dime. I can afford to supplement now. I've earned a little extra income above that. But I'm working to build a 6-figure income, and they give me the right to do that. And it's unilevel pricing. It's none of this, okay, well, move up in ranking, you get a better price, and move up in rank, you get a better price. everybody pays the same. So I'm going to end that right here.